Hello, this is Watch It All About with another watch review. In this review we're looking at the Seiko SKX007, a very popular diver's watch provided by Seiko. You can get one for around about £150, and if you ever Google, do a search for good affordable diver watches, this watch will be top of the search results, along with its brother, the Seiko Monster. So for this price, you do get a very solid, well-made watch. It has got quite a simple utilitarian design to it, but for the price, it is very hard to beat it. So we'll look into it a little bit further, and we'll discuss why it is such a good deal at this price. So first of all, I think it would be worth mentioning that the watch that I got was the one with the Jubilee bracelet. Now, I was very disappointed that it actually broke, which I wasn't expecting. It was actually this pin here, where the clasp clips onto like that, and that pin broke. It's soldered on, so that was a bit disappointing. So let's just have a quick look at the bracelet. So the Jubilee bracelet is very comfortable, mainly thanks to the short links, so it does wrap around the wrist quite well. The clasp is okay. It's not the bracelet in general is definitely nowhere near as good as the Monster. So the clasp itself is a little bit thin as well, and here's the lock-in flap. Again, a little bit light. You can see the stamps come through there, and the end links are hollow, as you can see. And also another thing is that doesn't actually fit particularly well to the case. You do see a bit of gap along there. So all in all, although it was comfortable, I wasn't really impressed by the Jubilee bracelet at all. One thing worth mentioning though is the pins that it comes in are absolutely fat, and they are a nightmare to get out. So that's one good thing. It's definitely not going to pop off from the case anytime soon. So I've basically put it on just a leather strap. I've got it from the Christopher Ward C11, mainly because it has the quick release pins. So there we go. So thinking about the watch itself, as it stands right now, the case alone, it's 80 grams. On a leather strap, it comes up to about 100 grams, and then weighed with the Jubilee bracelet, it's about 135 grams. So it is a decent watch. You can really feel the heft to it just on its own like that. So when you are wearing it on the wrist, it does feel like a decent watch. Personally, I quite like it on the leather strap as well. So if I just put this strap back on, and then I'll put it on, you can see it on the wrist. Okay, there we go. So let's talk specs then. So the size of the case is 41mm in diameter. I've got a 7.5-inch wrist, just for reference. So it's 41mm in diameter, 13.25mm high, and it has a lug-to-lug of 46mm. The case itself is very nicely finished and machined. It's very simple, but I do really like the almost bulbous look of the case here, and also around the crown. It's all very fluid and nicely machined. It's polished on the sides and on the bottom, and just brushed on the top. Again, as you would expect, the finishing and the machining of the case is really spot on, so I'm really impressed by that. The bezel, again, one of the well-known facts about this watch is the bezel is very smooth, very nice movement. It does feel high quality. It is ever so slightly out of alignment, which is a little bit of a little bit annoying, but never mind. All of this, all the printing on the insert is all flawless. We have the little pip 12 as well. Again, very impressively made, and it has this good 2 rows of grip as well, so it's really easy to use. So you can't really go wrong with it, to be honest. Let's have a look at the crown. Now the crown guards protrude right to the edge of the crown, so it does make it, just get it in focus, go on. It does make it a little bit awkward to get to the crown to unscrew it. So there we go. Personally, I would have liked the crown to be marked, but instead it's just very plain polished with nothing on it. The grip could be a little bit better as well, because when you are trying to screw it and unscrew it back in, it's a bit of a pain in the backside to get the thread and to screw it in. So, but if you're regularly wearing it, then it's you're not going to need to unscrew it much at all. The only time is to readjust it. Currently, the movement is running about 7 seconds faster a day, which is perfectly acceptable for a relatively cheap automatic watch. So that's good. But we'll talk about the movement later. So just turning it over, we have the case back. So this surf is from a very famous Japanese artist. His painting. Read my full review to get more information on that. But it's nice little touch to the Japanese heritage, and obviously it's just quite interesting to look at. And the watch specifics around the case back are all very deeply etched as well, so that's good. We have things such as the serial number, Seiko, movement, and a couple of other bits. So this is screw-in, crown is screw-in, and obviously that aids that's the main reason why it has a 200 meter water resistance, or 20 ATM, and that's ISO diver certificated as well. Okay, so let's talk about the dial. First of all, the loom is as good as everyone else mentions. You can see it just from me doing that. You can see it glow, which is very impressive, because not many watches that I review you can see it just in daylight like that. So it charges really quickly. It glows for hours on end, so it's really impressive. Evenly applied as well. So you can't really go wrong with that. I love a watch with good loom, because it makes it really look really impressive. So the hour markers are just literally applied loom blobs, and these shapes as well. It's a matte black dial, not jet black, but it has a nice charcoaly feel to it. And then I really like the rehaut as well, the way it raises the dial up to the bezel. I do like how they Seiko do that a lot with their watches, so that's nice. The hands, again, the loom is the main talking point, but it also has the polished stainless steel surround. Just wipe the crystal, and again, it's very impressively finished. We'll see under the macro lens how everything is flawless, absolutely flawless, which again is very impressive for the price of watch. And then we have the day date window, a suitable position. I think it looks good. It's in English and French, the days, and it's easy enough to change. You just pull the crown out to the second position, then one way does the date, the other way does the day. So that's nice. All the printing on the dial is absolutely flawless, and you can't really see any smudges on the print work at all. Okay, so let's get the macro lens out, and we'll just have a look at it under closer examination. Okay, so start with the dial. So we see there the printing, even though it's quite fine, it's all very accurate, and you can tell that the loom is all very evenly applied to each hour marker as well. And looking at the hands as well, absolutely perfectly machined with no marks on whatsoever. So very impressive for this price. Let's look at the date window. Again, the printing is very good. Lines up perfectly as well. Look at the print work there as well. And then just look at the rehaut. So, very good. I forgot to mention actually the crystal is Seiko's Hardlex crystal, which isn't as scratch resistant as sapphire, but it is more so than mineral, so it's sort of in the middle, but perfectly acceptable, and many people find it quite hard to actually damage, so not really an issue. So there's the lume pip at 12 on the bezel. Again, everything's absolutely flawless underneath the even underneath the macro lens. Can't really find any problems with it whatsoever so far. So let's look at the side of the bezel. There's the grip. And then the polished finish is very mirror-like, very hard to get a decent picture of it. Has this nice chamfered edge as well on the top edge, which is nice to see. And there's the brushed finish as well. Again, spot on for the price, so it's very good. Moving on to the crown. There we go, quite thin grip. So for me, I think the crown is the one and only place where it could probably improve on. It would have been nice to see something on the end here, and the grip could do with a little bit of improvement as well. But again, you can't really complain with the way it's been machined or finished. So moving on to the case back. Here's the, if I get it the right way up. Here's the wave. Nice and deeply stamped on it, which is nice to see. I do like a good, decent case back, so this is good. And here's the specifics deeply engraved in the bottom as well. There we go. So just briefly then, let me just show you the Jubilee bracelet. So it's the end of the link. The underside. It's nicely brushed on the underside, so it is very comfortable to wear. And there's the polished top of the centre links as well. So the links are very nice on the Jubilee bracelet. It's just the end links are pretty rubbish, and also the buckle's rubbish as well, which is a shame. Okay, so just to finish off, the movement is the very, very well known and popular Seiko 7S26 movement. It has certain features missing, such as the hand winding capability and also the hacking second. You can't do either of those things, which is, you know, a little bit of a pain, but in most situations it's not a massive deal. It doesn't particularly bother me. It is, you know, really accurate for the price, only plus 7 seconds a day, and bearing in mind a chronometer is maximum of plus 5, so that's not really a big issue. And it's just such a dependable movement. I mean, many Seikos go for 15 years without needing a service, and you know, it's not going to be any different for one of these watches, one of these movements in the SKX007. So when I first bought the watch, I was really hoping that it wouldn't, that I wouldn't have the same impression as everyone else who buys one. But now that I've had it, I've been wearing it for about a month, and it really is great for the money. It's very, very hard to beat it. Obviously, the design is quite simple, utilitarian, but you know, that's part of its charm. It looks really good on. I personally really like it on the leather strap. I much prefer it than the Jubilee bracelet. But it fits well on the wrist. It looks good on the wrist. The crystal is exceptionally clear, which always helps in making a watch look great. And I just think the design is simple yet effective. So for £150, it is, as I mentioned before, very hard to beat. So if you fancy a go, and if you like the design, then I would wholeheartedly recommend it. Okay, so this was the SKX007 by Seiko, and that's what it's all about.